What if you could transform the choices you make and unlock your business potential? Every decision you make has the power to shift your path. You have the ability to make inspired choices that drive growth and sales. Get ready to tap into the innovative power within you. Now, here's your host of Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert, Christine McIver.
I'm drowning. I don't know what to do. Help. I need help with my business. Anyone? Ever felt like that? Ever felt like you were in over your head? Hey, everybody. I'm Christine McIver. I am the host of Inspired Choices for Business Growth. And tonight, that's what we're talking about. Knowing when you're in over your head in business. It's an important piece to know. We need to be able to identify that so we can know when to put our hands up, right? And we need to know it so we don't just get washed away with the anxiety and the overwhelm. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. I am your host, Christine McIver. Before we jump into tonight's show, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am. I am a business optimization expert and coach. I work with individuals and organizations to really learn to optimize what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how to do it even easier and have pleasure with it. I love working with entrepreneurs and CEOs who know that more is possible, but are feeling overwhelmed and not sure which direction to go in. I love to work with them to bring their brilliance to the world and help them to create it so that they can scale or up-level their business. So if that's something you're looking for, feel free to reach out to me, ask me some questions. We can have a conversation and see if it's a fit. So you can do that by sending me an email to christine@christinemciver.com, or you can go check out my website, christinemciver.com, and see what fits your fancy, as they say. So this show, Inspired Choices for Business Growth, is not just about how to do business, but it's also about supporting you, the business owner. And I love to bring a lot of mindset work. I love to bring a lot of awareness and areas of our lives into the show to support you in your business, because I know you're not separate from your business. Your body, your being, even your life is not separate from your business. And so when we can look at things in many different aspects, it absolutely helps to grow our businesses. And who doesn't want to grow our business, right? So let me share with you the show notes for tonight, and then we will jump right in. So knowing when you're in over your head in business. Every entrepreneur reaches a point where the demands of their business feel overwhelming. Overwhelm can be managed, but left unchecked can bury you. Tonight, in this episode, I'm going to address the important skills of recognizing when you're in over your head, and I'll guide you through the warning signs that indicate you need to ask for help, delegate, or reassess your business strategy. So first and foremost, one of the big things that is going to assist you in not being in overwhelm, not finding that you're in over your head in business, is asking or really looking at, how have I set my business up? Do I have a business strategy? And am I actually utilizing it to guide me day to day? So many people are flying by the seat of their pants. And many of us, myself included, started our business on a dream, on a wish, on a spark of inspiration. And we jumped in with both feet. We didn't know what we were doing. And that's great. I really strongly encourage you to look at the thing that lit you up about your business. When you can identify that moment, when you can identify those emotions that sparked within you, those will be your guiding light in the moments of overwhelm. So you really need to understand exactly what those are and keep those close to your heart. Now, when you allow that spark to guide you to get started, it's fantastic. But that spark won't keep you going if you suddenly start to get into waters unknown to you. So you have a skill, you have an area of expertise that you're great at. No one person is great at every single thing in business. Now, that's not to say You probably can push yourself to figure it out. You can probably work around the clock. How many of us have done that? How many of you that are listening right now, just nod your head. How many of you have pushed yourself to learn something you absolutely had no thought to learn? You had no desire to learn. And now that you learn it, wish you didn't bother to waste your time, right? My producer, Danielle, says, I may have worked around the clock. Yeah. So many of us have worked around the clock. We've pushed and pushed and pushed ourselves. Today, the challenge with being in your own business is that we have the illusion that everything is at our fingertips and we could easily, you know, learn something online. We don't have to leave our homes. We don't have to necessarily communicate with tons of other people. We can learn it on our own. And I say an illusion because you have the capacity to do things excellent and you have the ability to do other things. If you are going to really excel and succeed in business, you need to stay in your lane. You need to do what you are excellent at. You do. Now, let me tell you, when I first started in my business, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like I honestly didn't. My father was an entrepreneur. I had entrepreneurs around me all the time that I was learning from. I worked as a top executive in a large firm. I knew a lot of the pieces that needed to come together, but how to do them, when to do them, when they were working great. I didn't have all of that knowledge. I didn't have all of that expertise. So what occurred and what occurs for most people is they are pushing themselves and they are trying to learn, they're bootstrapping, which means you're just, putting on the boots and jumping in feet first when you have no clue what you're doing. And when you start to feel like, oh my God, what did I say yes to? Oh my God, why am I doing this? That's a sign you're in over your head. You are in over your head. And there is absolutely zero shame in saying, this isn't my ball game. This is not what I am great at. Now, so many of us talk ourselves into this is what I have to do because I don't have the money to hire somebody to do it. Well, if you're like most people, myself included, you made a massive assumption around what it was going to cost you to have somebody support you to do whatever that was. If you are in the corporate world and the executive team said, okay, we need to add this X service to our business, the very first thing that would be done is one of the team members or one of the top managers would go out and they would price that service. They would go evaluate what the offers are out there to do that service. They would bring it back to the table, and then there would be a full evaluation at, does this still make sense? Is this something we can invest in? Is it now? Is it down the road? Can we do part in-house? Can we source out part of it? There would be a proper evaluation. What happens with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, is we stay in our head. And what's up in our head, the programming that we have in our head is all, based on our fears, belief systems based on belief systems of people that we were raised by, on belief system on people around us. If you have people in your life that they operate from lack, or you have people in your life that just push themselves to the brink of, exhaustion day in and day out, you are more than likely replicating or mimicking their behavior, or you have that belief system that you've bought into. Now, I've said this a billion times. I'm going to keep saying it probably every show. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So when you've heard, X person say something over and over and over again, that costs too much, you should do it yourself. That costs too much, you should do it yourself. That costs too much, you should do it yourself. You've now got this finally ingrained into your head. And now what's happening is you're believing that to be true. If you started to operate your business under the same patterning as a corporation, you would not allow that to be the forward thought. You would do your research. You would go out and get quotes from different organizations. You would look at what you're great at and what you're not great at. I'll tell you, I'll tell you one of the things that is one of the greatest things you can ever do. It's time consuming, but it will bring you more clarity than you can possibly imagine. Sit down and write out a list of every task that you perform in your business. And if your business is large and you have several different business lines, just do it with one business line. Sit down and write out every single solitary task to create whatever it is that you create in that business line. Then put down how much time each of those steps take, each of those tasks take. And once you do that, the third column you want to put down, is this something that I can teach someone to do? If you get a yes, that's where you start to look at, okay, who could do this? Do I already have a team member that I would be great at this? I know they have the skill set for this. Is this something that I could teach them? Or is this something that I would be willing to look at and get a quote on? You're going to be shocked by how much of what you do in your business, and I'm not talking about, your primary expertise. I'm talking about the tasks that need to be done in the business. And when you start to look at those tasks, I will tell you, if it's not your area of expertise, more than 50% of those tasks should be outsourced. They absolutely should be. Now, I want you to just think about this. If the tasks in your business that you're not an expert at, if the tasks in your business take 10 hours a week, 10 hours a week, that's over 500 hours a year. If you were to take that task, take that hour, and figure out what you charge hourly, if you charge, let's just for ease, you charge $100 an hour, and you outsource that at $20, $30 an hour, you would be gaining 70 hours a week. If you do the math on that, right? If it is 10 hours a week at 70, that's 700 a week. And then, sorry, am I doing that right? No, I'm not doing that right. Hold on, because I really want you to get this. And this is something I play with over and over and over again. So you've got 10 hours a week at $100 an hour is $1,000 a week, right? Times 52 weeks, that's $52,000 a year. $52,000 more that you could be making. Now, if you were to pay somebody $30 an hour at $10 a week, that's 300 times 52, that's 15,000 minus the 52,000, you would be up. Your revenue would increase by $36,000 a year. Oh my gosh, I love this comment. Somebody in the chat room is saying, I have been so resistant to doing this and seeing what I'm costing myself by doing it all. You know what? That's probably one of the best comments I've ever had, because what that actually says is that most of us are resistant to it because when we finally see the truth, we can't turn away from the facts. And that's exactly what occurred with me 3 years ago. And I can tell you the difference between my business 3 years ago and what my business is today, it is absolutely a drastic change, And it just continues to grow and to grow because I'm staying in my lane. So if you're not staying in your lane, there's a very strong likelihood that you're in over your head in business. You're in over your head because you cannot manage what needs to be managed and to grow your business. I've got so much more I wanted to share with you. I really hope that you're enjoying this show. Make sure that you reach out to me. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments where you see this show. Christine at ChristineMcIver.com. I would love to hear your thoughts, and possibly even let's just have a conversation and let's look at some of the thoughts that you're having to figure out whether you do feel like you are in over your head. And what a difference that can begin to make in your business. It's not going to be an instantaneous, but it's never going to change if you're not willing to start looking at it, right? Okay, you are listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. I am your host, Christine McIver. We are on the Inspired Choices Network. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more. Stay tuned.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at christinemciver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Christine McIver. You're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network, which is our home platform. One of the things that popped into my mind as I'm listening to the commercials was it was talking about becoming a host. So I'm also the CEO of the Inspired Choices Network. And we do invite you to, if you want to get your voice out into the world, if you want to get yourself elevated on a global platform, definitely reach out and talk to us. But what really jumped into my mind was where I am today with my business. I now have 5 different business streams, and each of those business streams are expanding. Now, let me tell you something. If you knew me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you would have never imagined that I had the capacity to do what I'm doing, that I would ever be branched out into these areas. I didn't even have an imagination that I would be. These were not something that were in my mind as I thought to start my business. They were not part of my imagination as part of my dream. But I'll tell you how some of this came to be. A lot of it came to be when I was willing to look at where I needed to stay in my lane and be the expert and where I needed to bring other people into my business. I was actually stopping my business. And I'll never forget the first time somebody said, the CEO is always the clog in the wheel. And I'm thinking to myself, to hell with you. I'm the one that's working. I'm the one thinking the ideas. I'm the one that's, at it late at night and da 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 da. And boy, did I ever have to eat those words later because it was true. I was the one that was the clog in the wheel. Just my willingness to look at who could do these other tasks started to open up the possibilities. When you have decided that, nope, this is it, this is the way my business is, and I'm never going to change, and that's it, and blah, 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 all of that don't change anything energy, where we get so damn stubborn because we feel like we have to defend our right, you're only doing that. What you're doing is actually hurting you. But when you start to open up to the possibility that someone else could do some of these other tasks, that's where the universe starts to say, oh, look, they're starting to be aware of this. They're starting to be open to this. This is a possibility. Now the window starts to open, and now the universe starts to bring you those possibilities, starts to, you know, put people in front of you, put ideas in front of you that you can then have a thought about choosing. But when you've decided that, no, this is the way it's going to be, and that's all there is to it, you are in over your head because you are stopping yourself from being able to receive. This is so, so important, my friends. It's incredibly important. So when I started to be open to the possibility and I started to really look at all the tasks I could get the heck out of the business way to allow other people to do it, you know, it started to change things. And I will tell you that it kicked my ego because I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want somebody else to be able to do this. I want to be the one that's doing it. Or, oh my God, I don't want to teach people how to do my business. Maybe they'll steal my business from me. Oh my God, all of that crazy thinking, that stopped me. But when I recognized that, hold on a second, I'm not asking a question. I'm not looking at the possibilities. I'm not even doing a little bit of research to see what could actually change. That was when things really started to really grow for me. The possibilities really, really started to happen. So knowing you're in over your head in business is when you are unwilling to change. That's one of the biggest pieces is you're in over your head because if you're not changing and you're not continuously looking at your business from the possibility of what's working, what could get better, the changes in the world, the changes in the business world, the changes in what the clients want out there, they're going to leave you in the dust. You're in over your head when you are stuck in a pattern of doing things just the way you've always done it. All you have to do is look at some large organizations that refused to change and they went down the tubes. You know, they had a system, they had a product, they had a service, and they were like, hey, if it's not broke, don't change it. But that's a very narrow-minded point of view. And you don't have to be drowning to be in over your head if you're unwilling to change something. So if you have been doing your business for more than 3 years and you still feel like you're not moving forward, you very well could be in over your head. You could very well be holding yourself back. Another way to really evaluate whether you're in over your head is if the task list continues to grow, but you're not able to check things off the list as fast as they're growing. You are in over your head. You're in over your head. If you cannot see the end of an area of your business that you have a lot of tasks in, and that just keeps growing and the pressure keeps growing, but the revenue's not, and your space in your life is not, you are in over your head. You're not meant to go into business to be a slave to your business. That's not why you did that. And I want you to think about this. Whenever you think you might be in over your head, I want you to ask yourself this question. If I was working for someone else, the hours, the length of my day, the list of tasks that are in front of me, if I was working for somebody else, would I allow them to treat me like this? Likely not. There's oftentimes I will say to my clients, if you were your employee, would you fire you? If you were your employee, would you fire you? And so many times we say yes. So many times the clients say yes. Oh my God, yes. Well, we've got to flip that as well. And someone in the chat room says, you know, about allowing an employer or a company to treat you to the long list, the long hours. Nope, she says, I wouldn't allow this treatment. If that comes to your mind, you don't have to figure it out right now, but remember that. This is not the way any employee should be treated. Just because your name is on the company name doesn't mean you get to treat you this way. Your area of expertise, I would bet $1,000 your area of expertise is needed and required in the world. I believe everyone's expertise is. You bring something unique, something special, something people are looking for. But if you're burying yourself in other tasks, you can't bring that to the world. And if you're burying yourself in tasks that are not your area of expertise, you're slowing down your growth, you're slowing down your business's growth, and you're impacting the people that are looking for what you have to contribute to the world. You're slowing their growth, their business growth down as well. I'm going to go so far as to say you have an obligation to show up in your area of expertise and to stop doing things that you are not an expert in. And I'm going to keep saying that word expert, because if it's not an area you're an expert in, if somebody else is an expert in that type of work, they'll be able to do it faster than you can do it, probably with more panache or creativity or more attractiveness, and they'll be able to do it in a way that contributes to you to grow even faster. So if you know that the majority of your daily tasks are not your area of expertise, you're in over your head. You also know you're in over your head is if you are buried in emails. Now, I am crazy about emails. I'm telling you, I am on people's backs all the time about emails. And I actually wanted to do a show and all about emails and telling people to stop using emails. You don't have any business using emails. It's like giving out your phone number and then your phone ringing nonstop and you never picking it up. Why do you have a phone number if you never pick it up? I had a client once who had over 100,000 emails. 100,000 emails. So are you an email hoarder? Like, what's the deal? And so I actually gave this person a task. She was enrolled in a business class that I was putting on. And I said, next week, I expect you to have at least 10,000 of those gone. And she put a huge effort in. And within weeks, she was down to less than 1,000 emails. Well, yeah, I know that I'm great at emails. I can't stay on top of 1,000 emails a day. If you have that kind of inflow coming in, you are either distracting yourself with signing up for all sorts of crap, or you've got so many people needing your help, wanting to hire you, but you're missing the opportunities. So which is it? If you cannot manage your emails day to day, you're in over your head. You just are. The whole reason to have emails is so that you're able to communicate with people, provide opportunities to them, have them support you in what you need. And if you're not able to move your emails on a regular basis and you're buried, you're definitely in over your head. If you are spending time on social media, commenting on other people's posts and videos and personal matters, and spending more time commenting and watching and interacting with other people's work than you do with your own business, you may be over your head. You may be in over your head because what you're doing is you're actually ignoring your own business. That is absolutely insane. There are so many things that you want to have your business contribute to you, but what are you doing to contribute to your business? Are you showing up as your brilliant self? Are you showing up excited about your business? Are you showing up rested about your business? Are you willing to be organized and challenge yourself to get stronger and better as an entrepreneur every single day? Or are you just calling it in? Are you avoiding your business? Are you buying into lies that you're not good enough? What is it that repeats in your head over and over again that is stopping you from moving forward? You don't need to know the what, the why, but identify what it is that's playing in your mind, that's going to help you to start to change it. But if you are avoiding your business and your tasks, you may be in over your head. We are up to our second break already. This goes often far, far too fast. If you're enjoying this show and you know somebody else that maybe, get an advantage from this show, may help them to grow their business, would you please consider going over to iTunes and giving this show a 5-star review? It makes a world of difference when you do that, because what it does is it changes the algorithms. People are able to discover it more easily, and then they are also able to receive what it is that I put out into the world to contribute to them. Lots of times I don't hear from people, but I know it is contributing to them, and it makes a world of difference. I would be incredibly grateful if you would do that. So just search Inspired Choices for Business Growth on iTunes, give it a 5-star review. I would be very, very grateful, as I said. Okay, we are up for our next break. You are listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Christine McIver. You're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth on the Inspired Choices Network. Now, if you are just joining and you've missed the first two segments, please do go back and listen, because there's so many things that I referred to that are essential for you to understand that you may be in over your head. And unfortunately, one of the reasons I wanted to do this show is because oftentimes business owners are in over their head for a long period of time before something really jumps out at them. Oftentimes they may just walk away from their business because they don't know how to figure it out, or they feel like they're not getting anywhere, or they might feel like this is the way it's supposed to be, and they burn themselves out completely and figure that they just can't do it anymore. Oftentimes we don't realize we are in over our head. We don't recognize those early signs that we are in over our head, and we need help. We live in such a strong way to communicate with people around the world, and yet we isolate ourselves, especially entrepreneurs. We isolate ourselves a great deal. We stay working on our own. Many of us have the pleasure of working from our homes, but yet it has actually separated us from other people. So when we are so separated, when we are working solo, we can get caught up in our head, and we don't realize that we are actually buried. As well, when an entrepreneur is working on themselves, in their businesses, and they're trying very hard to be successful, so many beliefs come up, so many thoughts about whether they're good enough, or whether they're just, they're not cut out for it, or they believe that they're not going to ever get ahead. Like, all of these negative things can come out. And it's very challenging for every person to be vulnerable about the struggles that they may have, especially an entrepreneur. I have seen it, so many entrepreneurs struggle with actually just saying, you know what? I really feel like I'm failing. I really feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. What so many of us do though is when we're in that space and we're struggling, we oftentimes speak to our family members and our close friends because we feel safe with them. Well, because our family and our close friends love us and care about us, they will often just want to find a solution, a fast solution. So they will often say, well, why don't you go back to doing that? And I know I had that experience at different times in my business when I was struggling and I didn't know what I was doing and I wasn't reaching out and asking for help and hiring people. You know, I would say this and people would come back and say to me, "Well, why don't you go back into HR? That's what you went to school for and you had a good job. So why don't you go back and do that?" And they mean well. They mean well, but they don't understand what the real challenge is. The real challenge isn't for you to find something to be good at. The real challenge is to figure out where you're overwhelmed, to figure out how to change that overwhelm, how to figure out, hey, you know what? Here's a sign that I'm in over my head. And it again, you're not supposed to know how to do every single thing in business. Something very simple that many of us do in business is we get told how to track our expenses and how to track our income coming in. And so we get an Excel spreadsheet, we, put down the date, we put down what it is, and we put down how much it is. And we think, well, there we go. We're tracking it, right? And then maybe at the end of the year, we'll send it off to an accountant to do the year-end books. But along the way, we don't have the knowledge that we should also be claiming this. We could also be claiming that, or a different way to actually be working with our books. We don't have an understanding of what it actually means, what these different accounting documents mean about our business and how the business is operating. If you're not an accountant, you shouldn't be doing your accounting. And I'll tell you, this was one of the things because this was the first profession I was actually going to go into. I went to college for accounting, and then I was doing that for about a year, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I was good. I was good at accounting in high school, and then started to do this in college. Well, anyways, when I started my own business, I thought, oh, I totally can do this. This is no big deal. And a few years in, it was a big deal. When I incorporated my business and I needed to hire a CA and I had hired someone and they messed things up, I got audited. It cost me thousands of dollars in penalties with the government. Oh my gosh, was I in over my head, right? Yeah, I was in over my head so much that I needed to get knocked over the head with a crowbar. I mean, oh my gosh, I was so stubborn. And then one day I was like, okay, uncle, I can't do this anymore. And so when I was willing to have somebody come into my life, I was really blessed with a wonderful human being. Her name is Kathy Cook Noble, and she came into my life and she was very gentle at slowly prying everything out of my hand. And today I do none of my accounting. It is organized. It falls in line with what's expected of me from a government perspective. Everything is taken care of. I can count on her team to ensure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. It's not my area of expertise, and there's a lot of it that needs to be done. It's no longer mine to do. So if you again are finding yourself jumping into areas that you don't know the whole piece of it to, you shouldn't be doing it. Even the simple pieces of bookkeeping. Stop doing that. You're spending more time than you realize doing that. And that's another thing that I often work with my clients around is do a timesheet. Do a timesheet of every single solitary task and every 20 minutes that you spend on that task every single day. Track that for a week and then look at those tasks. Look at how much time you're spending in your emails, how much time you're spending on social media, how much time you're spending on doing your bookkeeping, how much time you're spending on trying to clean up your emails. Look at that. If you are not spending at least 50% of your time in the making money area of your business, you are in over your head. You need to be having more revenue opportunities that you are seeking than tasks. You as an entrepreneur, you as a CEO, you need to be driving the business, not working in all of the tasks. So there's another big thing that you're in over your head is if you are paying out more expenses every month than you have revenue coming in. Now, I know, and I've done it, many of us have done it, is it's very easy to get lost in the tasks because if it's your business, you know how to do it really, really well. And it's just easy for you to just get lost in it and not have to think about it, right? There's some tasks you don't have to put any brain power into it. You're not being challenged in those tasks. And it's easy to tell yourself, oh, no, no, I have to do all these tasks. I have to do all these things. I can't get over there and do those things. I have to be here. Well, when you find that your expenses continue to grow or your revenue continues to drop, you are in over your head. You need support. Now, one of the fastest ways for you to learn if you are in over your head is connect with a business coach. I say this all of the time. Yes, I'm a business coach. And yes, I have business coaches. I work with business coaches because I want to continue to grow who I am. I want to continue to elevate me as an individual and as a leader. And I want to continue to grow my business. But if I'm not willing to be challenged, if I'm not willing to, be shown the blind spots that are going on with me, I can't do that. And I can't inspire others to do the same if I'm not being challenged. So I'm going to challenge you. If you do not have a business coach, I'm going to challenge you. You are not doing yourself or your business any good, and you are likely in over your head because you didn't go to school to be a CEO, to be an entrepreneur and learn how to set up a business. And even if you went to business school, and I'll tell you, I did, they don't teach you the day-to-day on the ground business running. They don't, because they don't know how you are going to operate your business. Sure, you can learn some areas, but until you are actually in it, until you are marinating in all the tasks and all the ways that you want to have business done, nobody's going to know. That's where a business coach will be such a great asset to you. And if you would like to have a conversation, if you would just like to see what the possibilities are to work with a business coach, what that would look like, do send me an email. Every single person I give 30 minutes to, no charge. We'll just have a conversation. Let's look at what's going on with you, and let's look at what I believe would be a contribution to you to help you to grow and to grow your business. So another area that will tell you that you're in over your business is if you feel like you don't know what you're doing in the area of sales, marketing, social media. If you don't know what to do in that area of business, you are in over your head. So you've got a product, you love the product, you love the service that you have. You've got systems, you know how to do it. You might even have team members that help you with the systems, but you don't have the knowledge on how to do sales, on how to do marketing, on how to negotiate or navigate rather in social media. You are in over your head. In today's business world, these three areas are critical. I know lots of entrepreneurs are great at what they do, and they absolutely are terrible at sales because that's not their area of expertise. Well, here's the great thing. There are people in the world that are great at everything you're not great at. The question is, are you willing to look at that? Are you willing to acknowledge, hey, this isn't my area of expertise. This is my area of expertise. If you're willing to really own that and you're willing to be open to possibilities, there are people out there that could be a great match for you, but you're never going to know if you don't let go of the stronghold you have on what you have to do. Okay, we are up to our final break of the show. This show is something that I love to talk about. I love to show people things so that they don't go into burnout. I went into burnout. I've done it a couple of times. I think I've learned my lesson. Fingers crossed. And I really do desire to see other people have joy and have pleasure with their business. So I hope that what I'm sharing with you tonight will contribute to you so that you can have more pleasure with your business, that you don't feel like it's a grind, that you have to just keep grinding and grinding every day in your business, that you actually get to enjoy the process of being the CEO of your business. I really do hope that this is contributing to you. And again, I'd love for you to reach out. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your challenges. Let's talk. What do you got to lose? Conversation? I don't think it's a big deal. But anyway, so you are listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and we're on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be back right after this commercial break. Stick around.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, you're listening to Christine McIver on the Inspired Choices for Business Growth show, a show that's been around now for 14 years, I think. Can't keep track. Sorry. Yes, 14 years, which is so much fun because my very first show, I didn't think I would ever do a second one. And here we are so many years later. It's amazing when you're willing to grow and challenge yourself to grow what you can actually accomplish. And that's a really good thing. Like, to even ask yourself, are you willing to grow? Are you willing to challenge yourself? And if you're not, you may be in over your head if you want to succeed in business and you want to grow your business. I do know people that they thought they wanted to start a business. They started, they created a website, they started to do things. And when they realized what was actually required to succeed in business in today's world, they didn't want to do it. And that's okay. Actually looking at that and acknowledging that it doesn't work for what you desire is good. However, if you do desire to be in business, but you find yourself criticizing yourself day in and day out, that's a sign that you're in over your head and you need support. Criticizing yourself, comparing yourself to other people, and looking at the things that you're doing and saying, oh, that's not right, or I messed that up, or I'm not good enough. Any of those negative things has nothing to do with what would actually make you happy or your area of expertise, but it may have a lot more to do with some inner work that you need to be doing or what you need to be outsourcing to other people, as we've already talked about, right? So there is a big difference between, I don't want to have to do that in business. That doesn't work for me. I'm going to go work for somebody else. I'm happier doing that. That's okay. But if you have a desire to be in your own business and continue your business, but you need to get out from under the buried pile of to-dos or the criticizing yourself or feeling like you're not good enough, that's a sign that you need support. That's a sign that it's time to put your hand up and ask for guidance, ask for support. Criticizing yourself daily, that's not okay. And that's absolutely not one of the reasons you came here to create in the world, right? And being an entrepreneur is challenging. Being someone who has their own business, it is one of the things that is going to make you grow more than anything else is being in your own business. It is easier, and don't anybody send me hate mail, but it's a lot easier to work for other people than it is to work for yourself because you own the success of your business. You own the day-to-day tasks. If you don't show up, your business may not continue, right? It is easier to go to work and to have somebody tell you what to do and you to just follow through without you being super responsible for every single solitary aspect. Now, I'm not saying it's comfortable to work for other people, and I'm not saying that it's comfortable to be told what to do day in and day out. I did that for many, many years, and finally I'd had enough because I didn't agree with their values. I didn't agree with what they were putting in front of other people. It didn't work for me, and it certainly didn't light me up, and really didn't utilize what I was an expert in. And I still needed to learn more about what I was an expert in, and certainly being in my own business has done that. So if you are struggling with trying to figure out how to make more money in your business, and you don't know how to do that, the expenses continue to grow, you feel overwhelmed with making decisions, you may be in over your head. Now, it doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track with your business. It doesn't mean that you should stop doing your business. It means if you're in over your head, you need support. You need to step back and do a full evaluation of your business and look at the areas that are really pulling you down and where some changes can start to be made. Your business, remember, go back to that moment that spark jumped into your heart about starting your own business, about the idea of what you wanted to do and how it lit you up. That's probably still somewhere inside of you, buried underneath all of your worry and your concerns and your tasks and your bills, right? Pull that back up if you can and really sit with that. And then put your hand up and ask for help. I've given you a lot of ideas of things to do during the show tonight. And I really do hope that you will start to take advantage of this knowledge and these opportunities to start to see where you might be buried. But I always still really want you to look at, you don't have to do it alone. And when you're in your own business and you're trying to do it alone, you cannot see what's going on every angle. When someone is seeing things from the outside, they can often identify things you may never, ever be able to see. When you are willing to put your hand up and get assistance, just like somebody who's learning how to be an expert in sports. A coach is there to guide you. A coach is there to support you to reach your goals, your targets, and your dreams. That's no different than a business coach. So you are in over your head, again, if you are trying to do everything by yourself and it's not getting better. You are in over your head if you are feeling depressed or you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You are likely in over your head. Please, you're an important piece of the puzzle of the beautiful tapestry of this world. You having joy in your life and in your business contributes to other people so much you can't even imagine. So if you're willing to put that time in to really evaluate that and to put your hand up, the changes that you can make in your own life will ripple out to the rest of the world. My friends, don't take this lightly. You can be making such a huge difference in the world. I really encourage you to look at that and to really be willing to step into more and more of that. Next week, we're going to be talking about what's possible when you stop apologizing. I hope you'll be able to join us. And I've got a big surprise next week as well. So next week, July 16th, I can't wait to share it with all of you. Please come back again. And remember, my friends, no matter what, you can always make another choice. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. Christine McIver will be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Be sure to join us again for you and your business. Until then, remember to make the choices that align with your true desires. This is your business.